Really dislike Jake Paul. Now, I don't dislike him. I understand him. I want to make something clear. I would still kick the living fuck.
I used to really dislike Jake Paul, but now I don't just dislike him. I get him. Let me make something clear, though. I'd still beat the living daylights out of Jake. But Andrew Tate, he just utterly destroyed Jake Paul on live TV in a way so humiliating. It's hard to even put into words. What else can we expect from Jake, though? The guy has a gift for setting the bar so low that he can't help but trip over it. First, he backed out of Andrew Tate's $3 million fight offer.
Because he's allowed himself to become the biggest clown on the internet, and now he's famous, right? Because he's an idiot. But he has a bunch of money, so he gets to
fight offer. And then he had the audacity to drag Mike Tyson into a scripted fight. Jake knew Tyson wasn't in his prime, but that didn't stop him from using the legend to make a quick buck and grab views. He's turned himself into the biggest joke on the internet, and for that, he's famous. The problem is, Jake's not even good at the game he's playing. He just has the money to stay relevant. And now, Jake's tried to provoke Andrew Tate into a fight.
You only want to lose to them so you can say, well, I lost to Conor McGregor. Why don't you lose to an old man who's retired? I live in the real f***ing world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real f***ing world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated.
That he won't actually step into the ring. Why? Because Jake knows he'd lose. His plan? Get Tate to reject the challenge, so he can spin the narrative that he's the fearless warrior nobody dares face. But Tate...
but I would whoop his ass. But he wouldn't take a fight against me, because when he loses... I'm not nearly on his level of fame, right? So like he lost to who? Whereas if he loses to Conor McGregor, it's no big deal. Well, he lost to Conor McGregor, who cares, right? That's what it's about.
But Tate isn't falling for it. Instead, he completely ripped Jake apart on live television, exposing the guy for the fraud he is. Tate straight up called out Jake, saying, you only want to lose to people like Conor McGregor, so you can say, hey, I lost to Conor McGregor. Why don't you lose to an old man who's retired? Andrew Tate flipped the script.
I'm not some washed-up UFC fighter. I'm not smaller than him. I would beat the living shit out of him. And if he wants to fight, I'll fight him any day of the week, and I'll fucking wreck him. And he knows.
Script accepted the challenge. And what did Jake do? He vanished. Ghosted. No response. Jake Paul, the so-called fearless fighter, was suddenly silent. It's clear. All talk, no action. Andrew Tate didn't just challenge him. He gave Jake a reality check that hit harder than any punch he's ever thrown. He called Jake's entire boxing career a joke, accusing him of turning the sport into something suited for TikTok trends, rather than real competition. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that when Jake's idea competition includes a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Speaking of Tyson, let's talk about Jake dragging that legend into a circus. Mike Tyson, a heavyweight icon, reduced to a content gimmick because Jake wanted to play tough. Andrew Tate summed it up perfectly. It wasn't boxing. It was...
However, I do understand what he's doing. I understand that he is very, very smart, even with his marketing angle. I'm just a YouTuber. You're not just a YouTuber. You're a full-grown man with the best coaches in the world who's dedicated his life to learning how to box for years. You know how to box. You're not a complete amateur. You know how to box very well. 3, 4, 5 years of training combat sports. You can box. The guy's not a jackass.
It was elder abuse. Jake didn't see Tyson as a legend who revolutionized the sport. He saw him as a shortcut to headlines without actually risking anything. And the worst part? He thought no one would notice. Now, I get it. Jake is smart when it comes to his marketing. He's not just a YouTuber anymore. He's a grown man with the best coaches, dedicated to learning how to box. He knows his stuff, but he's not a complete amateur. Still, when you look at his fight history, it's almost laughable. He's fought retired MMA fighters who weren't even known for striking. Ben Askren, a wrestler who moved like he was underwater. Tyron Woodley,
not just for YouTube. He is a young man training with Canelo and Ryan Garcia.
When I made the video, I really disliked Jake Paul. Now, I don't dislike him, I understand.
Tyron Woodley, a shadow of his former self. Nate Robinson, a basketball player who couldn't throw a punch if his life depended on it. Jake's entire career is a highlight reel of low-risk, high-reward fights designed to trick casual fans into thinking he's a legitimate boxer. Andrew Tate completely tore that facade apart. Jake's biggest flaw? He cherry-picks opponents. If he trained half as hard as he cherry-picks fights, maybe he'd actually earn some respect. He's not just a YouTuber. He's a guy who's worked with some of the best in the sport like Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia. Yet, his whole career is based on stunts, not skill. And then, there...
$3 million. You put three, I put three. Winner takes all. You know my name, Andrew Tate. I will fight you any day, anytime. Let's fucking go. If I were to fight Jake Paul, I would take it completely seriously like a real fight, and I'd whoop his ass. I'd beat him. Jake. Everyone thinks he's just so...
There's the $3 million challenge. This wasn't some gimmick. It was a real offer, winner takes all. Tate didn't care about the money. He just wanted to expose Jake for who he truly is. And what did Jake do? He ran. Not walked, not jogged. He ran. Because here's the thing. Jake thrives in controlled environments. His fights are carefully planned to protect his ego and maintain his narrative. But a fight with Tate? That's not in the script. That's a gamble he can't afford, because losing to Tate would destroy the entire illusion he's built. So what does he do? He avoids a fight and goes silent. Tate, on the other hand, didn't just reject Jake's trash talk. He delivered a masterclass in psychological warfare. He called out Jake's entire existence, calling him nothing more than a kid playing dress-up in a sport he doesn't even respect. And let's be honest, Jake's whole career has been about gaining followers on TikTok and YouTube, not boxing. Tate's savage line: Jake, your legacy isn't built on fights. It's built on TikTok captions. Was so accurate, Jake probably needed an ice pack for his ego. This wasn't just trash talk. It was psychological destruction. Jake's carefully crafted self-image started cracking, and social media had a field day. Memes flooded the internet, and hashtags like #JakePaulExposed trended as fans roasted Jake for dodging the $3 million challenge. The irony? Jake, the so-called fearless fighter, was running faster than his own hype train. And let's not forget, Jake's loss to Tommy Fury was already a huge blow to his image. Fighting Tate would have been the final nail in the coffin, and Jake knew it. But even without the fight,